Welcome to Scoliosis Dialogues, a SRS podcast. Today's episode is a collection of live interviews from moderators after each session of the International Meeting on Advanced Spine Techniques held in Miami, Florida, April 6th through 9th, 2022.
Hello, I'm Kent Walker, pediatric orthopedic surgeon from Louisville, Kentucky, here with Dr. Skaggs. He's the director of the Cedars-Sinai Spine Program, and he was the moderator of the White Cloud nominee paper. And so what do you think the best take-home was from this session?
Well, so we looked at the top 15 papers at this whole meeting. The paper I liked the best reported complication rates or revision surgery rates of up to 89% in a certain group of patients with tethers. And afterwards, we did a poll. We said a girl with a typical 60-degree curve, how many people in the audience would do a fusion? 40 people raised their hand. How many would do a tether? Only 3 people raised their hand. So I think we are now witnessing real time the pendulum swing on tethers, and that's why we're here at IMAST.
Perfect. I agree. I think selective thoracic fusion is a fantastic surgery, and it's hard to deviate away from that. Hello again, I'm Kent Walker, pediatric orthopedic surgeon from Louisville, Kentucky. We're here in Miami, Florida at IMAST 2022. This is Dr. Sukin Shah from the Moores Health in Wilmington, Delaware, and we just finished the most recent session. What did you think some of the hot topics were?
It was pretty cool, Kent. We were in innovations in AIS, and a couple of things that were really fascinating is this early experience of robotics for AIS. It's early in the learning curve, but we got to pay attention to some of the mistakes made and the complications, which were low, fortunately. Navigation is still playing an increasing role in treating pediatric scoliosis, though. One thing I thought was really striking was adherence to principles. We got to go back to the basics. Whether you want to tether somebody or do a selective fusion, we had several papers on adding on. Many of them were due to improper level selection. So if we go back to principles about choosing the stable vertebra and paying attention to the x-ray pre-op, it's going to be the best way to get a successful result.
Perfect, thank you.
I'm Ahmet Alanay, chair of the IMAST committee and also the moderator of the session on non-fusion techniques for the treatment of scoliosis. So in this session we have discussed about the non-fusion technologies such as vertebral body tethering and posterior distraction devices. And as you know, vertebral body tethering and both vertebral body tethering and posterior distraction device are very controversial issues. But actually we have discussed more controversial things this time with the extended indications of vertebral body tethering and some different strategies such as hybrid instrumentation and some controversial issues like double cord applications or disc releases. And also we have discussed some revision strategies in the case of failures.
I'm Bob Easlack from San Diego, California in Scripps Clinic, and had the fortune of moderating a session on optimization perioperatively for adult spinal deformity. We had some great speakers, and some of the key takeaways were things such as Chris Ames talking about frailty and how to standardize and do predictive analytics in a way that better identifies patients who we can optimize and those patients who might be excessively at risk. Dr. Matsuyama came to us from Japan and wisely talked about nutritional status and gave us great feedback and ideas on how to assess patients beforehand, get them nutritionally repleted. We had a rheumatologist from Vanderbilt come and speak to us about various options for bone physiology, including some of the parathyroid analogs, and then finally some gait analysis from Dr. Lieberman and some of the special metrics that we might use in the future to get better function out of our patients.
I'm Ken Walker here again at IMAST 2022. This is Dr. Harari and Dr. Yoger. They were the moderators of the idiopathic and neuromuscular scoliosis. What do you guys think some of the hot topics were?
Well, 9 great papers. One of the takeaways that I picked up, and it was from 2 different papers on vertebral column resection, the high risk of neurologic injury. One was a systematic review, odds ratio 6.78 for significant neurologic injury with VCR. The other was a comparative study versus halo gravity traction, and the VCR group had 80% neurologic complication rate, so I learned a lot from that.
So the one I think that stand out was with a minimum 10 years of follow-up, was talking about the sacral LR iliac screws, and it looks great that they still work well at the end of 10 years. ambulatory kids get a bit more complications, but in general, it's good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, this is Mike Kelly. I just moderated the session on adult spinal deformity with Justin Smith. It was a great session showing just how far we have come and how far we have to go in adult spinal deformity. We've made tremendous leaps and bounds with predicting alignment and prescribing alignment, but we have a ways to go. And we also had a hint at what is to come and predicting outcomes, which at the end of the day is what we're all going for. So hopefully you can review those talks, and we look forward to seeing you in Stockholm.
Hi, I'm Michelle Marks. I'm from San Diego, California. I'm at the IMAST meeting 2022 in Miami. I am the Executive and Research Director of Setting Scoliosis Straight in the Harm Study Group. I had the distinct honor of co-moderating a session just now entitled The Age of Precision Medicine in Spinal Deformity Surgery. My co-moderators, Chris Ames and Farhan Police, are really leading the way in using big data and artificial intelligence to improve patient outcomes. But we had a wonderful panel, all illustrating the ways that artificial intelligence and machine learning is really going to change the game for patient outcomes and improving the way spinal deformity is conducted. It's an exciting arena, and I was really honored to be a part of that session. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Karimana Blanc-Genevois. I'm a French spine surgeon, orthopedic. I just moderated the early career session. This is a new proposal of SRS that young surgeons or even young researchers join us in this new initiative to debate on cases, to have presentations by young people, and to have some kind of interaction that changes a bit from the other sessions that we have. We like it to be very interactive, so we mix cases, we mix innovative techniques, we also try to discuss sometimes technical aspects like surgeries, or even the way you are building your practice or building your job facility and the people you work with.
Hi, I'm Serena Hu, President-elect of the Scoliosis Research Society. We just finished a great session on bandwagon versus pendulum swing. We had talks varying from growth-friendly rods and vertebroplasty, sagittal balance, and as moving on to things like denesis and other controversial topics. You'll be able to watch that yourself, downloading it from the website in a few weeks. Hope to see you all in Stockholm.
My name is Alex Vaccaro, and I just chaired the recent symposium on thoracolumbar trauma. It was a phenomenal engagement. We had people from all over the world attending. The most important thing about the SRS meetings is that it's networking to get the most able-minded people in a room who have a goal, and that is to learn more about the management of trauma in the elderly, in the frail, and in complex cases. We had speakers from around the world. We had Harvard Deshambra from India. We had Rick Sasso remotely, and we had the spinal experts from Thomas Jefferson, as well as shock trauma. We enjoyed it. We covered everything from the non-operative care to the management of deformity, to the management of post-traumatic deformity, when to operate, how to treat patients with osteoporosis, and most importantly, how to manage complications. If you didn't make it, we missed you, and we hope to see you next year.
The last session of the IMAST was launched with the experts, and we watched the video techniques from the experts during this session. And what we have learned, we just have learned that kickstand rods really helping for the correction of pelvic obliquity, and power tools are really very useful, especially to protect the surgeons who get injuries from inserting the screws and doing the osteotomies. And we have also learned about C7 osteotomy and how it can be made safely. And finally, we listened to some techniques to prevent the PJK. And I really enjoyed this session, and I learned a lot. Thank you, everyone, for joining 29th IMAST meeting. The content and the virtual registration will be available until the end of June.
The Scoliosis Research Society is a nonprofit professional organization made up of physicians and allied health personnel. Their primary focus is on providing continuing medical education for healthcare professionals and on funding and supporting research in spinal deformities. Please visit srs.org for further information. you.